Okay, I figured it out. Thought I didn't know how to use GarageBand at all. Don't even know if my mic's working. Don't know how anything works anymore, but this is me. This is me reading stuff. I'm Robin O'Neill, and I was born April 30th of 1977. How about you guys? I'd like to hear about your entire history. I'd like to know when you first started to have memories. When do you when did you first start? When are your memories? When did they begin? Does that make sense? I think they say that most people start remembering things at age 3. Like, what I'm saying is when you look back, what is your first memory? That's my question. I'm going to do some questions later. I know that, but some of you may know sometimes on Me Reading Stuff, we do Question Corner. And I will do that later. This is the weakest intro I've ever had, and I like it. We're going to leave it. Again, I'm the podcast host. I've got no producer. I've got nobody helping me at all. And so I just want you to know that there's a lot of we're freewheeling it. We're freeballing it, and we are taking it to the streets. We're just doing what we need. We're balls to the wall. And there's nothing containing us. I guess us being me. I don't know who us is. Frankie's here, so I must be responding to her. Frankie is my cat. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. It's me. Me Reading Stuff just seems to be a constant tease or a constant false start. And I do apologize for that. Trust me, nobody's more annoyed than I am. All of you have been very understanding. Hello, if you're new, I just had heart surgery this year, so I haven't been able to do anything really except have heart surgery and then have another heart surgery and then recover from heart surgery. I have done a lot of that. And apparently eat a lot. I eat about 15 to 28 meals per day now because I'm on steroids that make me, Damien called me Nice Tea, N-I-C-E, Nice Tea. I don't remember. He said he got that from somewhere, and now I can't remember. He got it from a TV show or something. But anyway, I got kind of crazy on prednisone, and I still am. Prednisone is the steroid I'm currently still on, but I used to be on like a mega dose, many doses of it. And anyway, I've been just gaining weight left and right, eating more meals than... I've probably eaten more meals in the last 3, or I think it's been 2.5 months ago that I started all this, than I have in the history of my 48 years prior to that total. And I'm not kidding. I've always loved food, and most of you guys know I talk about food more than I talk about anything, and I love to cook, and Damien's a great cook, and my parents came to visit, and they're great cooks, and it was just, it's just been out of control, and we had these nice people give us a meal train, so they brought up food, many times cooked by themselves. How can you not eat that? It's been amazing. My food life has gone to a total... a new level here ever since heart surgery. So I'm gonna give this weird time of my life credit for that. But back to the podcast. It really sucks because I always have the best intentions when I tell you guys I'm gonna do this every week. Oh, get ready. You're gonna hear from me maybe even twice a week. It's all not fake at the time, but it sounds fake. When I hear myself repeating that over and over to you guys, it breaks my heart. And to anybody who's new, this podcast has been going on for 10 years. And in the past, I did it twice a week for a long time. And nothing stopped me. But everything has stopped me from doing almost everything lately. And a lot of times throughout the past several years, too. It's just... Anyway, the point being, I apologize. Let's move on. And let's see what we've got for you today. I'm going to go ahead and do a reading for you. Okay, we're going to do several readings today. I think I told you that. I just went to the library. And even though yes, I just went to the library and I was putting my library books on this kind of side table. And near that side table was my Merriam-Webster's vocabulary builder. And I remember, and this might have been during these weird, dark days of me having a different podcast called Robin's Gate in 2023, where I was doing I was doing a reading from both encyclopedias that I had and also from the vocabulary builder. And I really liked it. So I want to start with that, and then we're going to just open to some random pages in in a few of the library books I chose today. So we're just kind of like, this is my version of how I love just, if you remember, I would just grab whatever book was handy, and it always went well. I think when I overthink what to read to you guys, sometimes that works, a lot of times it doesn't. So this just happens to be what's sitting around me right now. And I opened up to a page that is, Merriam-Webster's Vocabulary Builder. This is second edition by Mary Wood Carnog. So she must have compiled this. And I love this. There's quizzes at the end of each unit. They're not called chapters for some reason, they're units. And in this one, Unit 21, we're doing Greek and Latin borrowings. How fun is that? And I looked right down to the entry for magnum opus. And of course, we all know that means a great work, especially the greatest achievement of an artist, composer, or writer. And it says, no one was exactly sure what the massive novel was about, but everyone was certain that it was his magnum opus. I wonder who we're talking about. Probably Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Okay, let's see. The greatest work of a great artist may be hard to agree on. Many would pick Rembrandt's The Night Watch, Mozart's Don Giovanni, Ovid's Metamorphosis, Dante's Divine Comedy, Ren's St. Paul's Cathedral, and Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel murals. But for Shakespeare, would it be Hamlet or King Lear? For Mahler, The Song of the Earth or The Ninth Symphony? For the Marx Brothers, A Day at the Races or A Night at the Opera? I love this. It makes me think. So Night Watch is definitely in, if you guys have ever played Animal Crossing, there's a museum in Animal Crossing, and one of the it's a video game on the Switch. And I do play occasionally, as I've talked about on here before, and I am one away from getting all the pieces in my museum. Basically, there's this weird, horrible, this guy who I hate, this little character called Jolly Red, and he comes over in a steamboat, and he tries to sell you art, and most of it is fake copies of great pieces of art, and Rembrandt's The Night Watch is there. And anyway, there's a whole bunch of great pieces of art in there, but I don't think any of the others here are listed. Anyway, I don't think so. What did I read? This would be a fun thing to debate anyway. I thought I had a magnum opus, which was really conceited of me. And I didn't mean to think about it that way, but I was like, well, I'm never going to top this. This is just, I don't know if any of you, as a lot of artists out there listening, have ever felt this way, but I really was working on this piece for so long, and I put every single thing into it. It was a blood, sweat, and tears thing, and I just thought, well, this is my magnum opus. I don't know how, I can't remember what age I was, but I was in my 30s when I made it, and I was like, well, yeah, I'm never going to top this. And it turns out I probably will top this because nobody seemed to care about it. So, and I do complain about it all the time on this podcast, so I'm sorry to be so redundant, but it's been a while since I got to complain about it. The piece is called Hell, to anyone out there who wants to know about it. Go look it up and go ahead and weep for me, because it does suck that piece is still without a home. And you know what? To any museum who's passed on that, I got a massive problem with you. Let's have a debate. Let's do it like, old WWF wrestling style, where you and me, whoever you are at a museum and me, let's do a full-on debate back and forth on live TV where we just have it out. Now, I'm not talking about wrestling or fighting. I'm talking about let's talk. Those those talk-ups that they do where you see wrestlers like go back and forth about why they're the best and why this other person better not even think about messing with the best. That's what I want to say to any curator who's passed on Hell for any reason whatsoever. I don't care about your reason. Make it happen. It's like, have you seen those photos of James Ensor as an old man with Christ Entry into Brussels behind him? I mean, are you kidding me? Nobody wanted that piece. It now is at the Getty. And by the way, I'll put a link. If I remember during editing to write a note about this, I'm going to put a link to all of this in the podcast description. So enjoy. And I'm sorry that I'm jumping right in, but I actually am happy because I sound like myself again. So welcome back. Welcome to me. Okay. Some things I like right now. That's something I wanted to talk about. Some things I'm into. Let's see. Well, I have a stack of note cards to the side, and I'm loving, instead of always putting everything in my notebooks, there are things that I don't want in my traditional, what I take notes in for all of my artwork and stuff, composition notebooks. I love a little, what are they called? They are just called note cards, right? I don't want the kind that have little holes in them. I want them ruled on one side, and like nice thin rules, and then blank on the other side. I do not like entirely blank ones, and I also don't really like it if they're ruled on both sides. And just to throw it out there, I love lined paper. I really do not like writing or drawing. Well, I guess I do draw on non-lined paper all the time, but in my sketchbook, I will never have one of those sketchbooks that are just plain paper. I have, but it's been since like junior high or something. I just love ruled paper. And I love drawing on ruled paper. And the more I think about it, this is kind of dumb that I don't. I mean, maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe I need to draw ruled lines on every drawing I make. And maybe I'd have a better life and career and mental landscape. Okay, anyway, I love also my Apple Watch. I just took a glance at it. Let's check my BPM right now. Beats per minute, for those of you that don't have to check your vitals all the time. It was at 87 beats per minute 4 minutes ago, and it's right now at 87. So I got worked up about that lined paper stuff. My parents got me this Apple Watch, believe it or not. I never wanted one. Well, it wasn't believe it or not that my parents got it for me, but believe it or not, I can't believe I have one because I never thought I'd see the day that I wanted one. I don't even like watches, but I do now, and I really love it. They bought it for me because of my heart problems, and the new ones, you can actually do an FDA-approved EKG on them very easily with your finger. And it's so crazy, and it's so necessary, and it can detect dangerous heart rhythms like AFib, and I have to keep an eye on my heart rate all the time, and it was very kind of my parents, and I love, different watch bands. I'm just kind of obsessed with it. I got a little too obsessed with it in the very beginning, and now I'll back off it a little bit, but I love that I can easily just. I know you can do this on your phone, but I hate carrying my phone around, and I don't have anything set up with like messaging or text messaging or whatever on my Apple Watch, so I can go out to the yard and do some gardening and put in like, hey, set timer for 15 minutes. I realize I'm explaining something that most of you have known forever, like how an Apple Watch works, so I'm sorry, but for me, it's been really helpful, mainly for the timer aspect, and that I like checking the time all of a sudden and looking down and seeing that it's, Monday the 11th. It also tells me that sunset today is at 8:29. So these are things I like to know, and I love my Apple Watch. Sorry, I love it. I hate my Apple phone, just because I hate phones, but I do love my Apple Watch. Okay. What else do I love right now? I've been canceling a lot of streaming apps. I want to cancel pretty much all of them except for my Lifetime movie app, which I think is called Lifetime Movie Club. And I've been realizing every time I mention Lifetime movies to people, most people don't know what they are anymore. It's super weird. I think people my age and older do, but a lot of you young people have no idea what I'm talking about, and I am here to tell you it's just the greatest television channel ever made and produces some of the weirdest movies you can find. Back in the days where people liked B movies and where B movies were made, that was fun. And then in the late 90s or something, Lifetime movies. Well, it's basically made for TV movies. And they are very weird, and they have the weirdest titles. I can next time I'm on here with you guys, I'll pull up all of the most recent titles on Lifetime Movie Network, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, I think the one I watched yesterday was called something like Daddy's Not So Perfect Daughter or something like that. That doesn't even sound that great, but trust me, they're good. There are some really well-known ones where the title is sort of why it became famous. Tori Spelling starred in one called Mother, May I Sleep with Danger. There's one fairly recently called Psycho Storm Chaser, I think. There's a whole series of Wrong movies called, there's The Wrong Cheerleader, The Wrong Cheerleader Coach, and the Wrong Neighbor, The Wrong Stepfather. The list goes on and on and on. But anyway, Sinister Surgeon, that's one. And they're all just so entertaining and funny. And actually, they kind of give me a bad taste for most other movies. That's just been my experience. Now, I've talked about this on here many times on the podcast, but just so you know, right now, I kind of hate, and I've always loved documentaries. I used to say documentaries are my favorite genre of film, but lately, I gotta be honest with you, I don't think there's a worse genre of film out there. I'll take anything. I didn't ever like rom-coms. Well, I think I like them more than I like documentaries anymore, because every documentary that is made for these streaming services, almost every one of them, first of all, they try to draw it out, and then they'll have a TikToker as an expert on something. And, I'm sure there are some TikTokers who are legitimate experts on something, but I can't deal with it anymore. Every single one I put on, I'm like, nope, can't do it. There's always a shitty animation. No offense if you've animated a documentary and you're out there listening, but I'm telling you, I just can't do it. I just can't do it anymore. I'm done with documentaries. Give me American movie, and I guess I'll just rewatch American movie, my favorite movie of all time, favorite documentary of all time. I'll just rewatch that for the rest of my life, rather than try to jump into one of these documentaries again. Frankie is locked out of my room and trying to get in, if you hear this. Hear that? Yeah. Very demanding. I'll be right back. So I can't remember why I was talking about all of that. The Lifetime Movie Network. Oh, because wasn't I talking about just things I like in general? Things I'm doing, things I'm up to. Definitely up to canceling. And also all the streaming apps are so expensive. I can't do it anymore. I really can't. And neither can Damien. So we're in agreement, and we've canceled almost everything we had. HBO, goodbye. The only one I still have is Peacock. And I think I'm getting rid of that one now that I think about it. That's out of here too. And we have we basically live in a Blockbuster movie store. So, or better than that, I think. And I'm telling, we have so many movies and TV shows on DVD and VHS that it's not a problem. Again, I'm at the stage of life where I'm not really interested in anything new right now. I'm just gonna ride into the sunset on about 8 different movies and about 5 different TV shows, and just keep rewatching them all until the end of time. And I'm totally fine with that. So it's not that I think everything sucks, but everything I've tried to watch sucks. And I am a repeater. I love repeating things. I love repetition in music. I love repetition in general. I've mentioned this many times on here. I've watched the entire series of Beverly Hills 90210. That's 10 seasons. At least. And I used to keep a tally of it, but I've watched it at least 30 times total. Again and again and again. Most of my drawings that you may know about, if you know my work as an artist, were made with 90210 on. And it gets me into a zone. And so that's why I'm also canceling all these subscriptions, because as I'm trying to claw myself out of this recovery period, even though I'm not anywhere near done with the recovery of my heart surgery. And I just started cardiac rehab last Friday, and I go to my first real appointment tomorrow. I am ready to start working again. I'm trying desperately to start drawing again and being in my studio. And this is a new studio. I may have mentioned, go ahead and ask me. If you guys have any questions, send some questions into info@robinoneal.com, and I will answer them about, what am I working on? Why am I in a tiny studio? Like, I'm in a small room in our house instead of my big studio. Do you need that story? Have I already told that story? I don't remember. Anything that you need some clarification on, because I've been so hit and miss about when I'm ever going to talk to you guys on here, let me know, because I'm forgetting what I've told you and what I haven't told you. Have I told you about my experience during surgery, being basically a zombie and being on the heart-lung machine, and that your blood flows backwards during your heart surgery? Like, have I told you guys about that? That my heart wasn't beating while they worked on it. I had to be on the heart-lung machine. Everything was going. I was essentially, in my opinion, that makes me dead. And the only thing keeping me alive was the heart-lung machine, which, if you don't know what that is, look it up. And not only that, but and I don't know why they have to do this, but my blood was being pumped backwards throughout my body for 4 and a half to 5 hours during my first surgery, which is a mitral valve repair surgery. So it's crazy. And here goes Frankie again. You hear this? Frankie? I think you guys heard her meowing in the background. Okay, well, let's move on and let me know what you need to know, and I'm going to come back and read something to you. Okay, I said I was going to read something, and I am, but I also just realized I didn't tell you guys of another thing that I really like right now, which is that I just bought myself a standing drafting table. And I think it's mnemonic. And I know it goes up, maybe it's electric, but it goes up and down very easily according to all the reviews. It wasn't that much money in the scheme of standing desks. And it really is a drafting table. It's not nearly as big as the drafting tables I use, so I'm a little concerned about that. But I am so excited because my whole body works better when I don't sit too much. I have something called ankylosing spondylitis, and truly sitting down is the worst thing for it. So and with all these 50,000 meals I eat per week, it's probably a good idea that I stand up and move my body as much as possible. And I'm just so excited to share that with you guys. I've been using the same drafting table since the beginning of time. So it's really, really, I cannot wait to get this thing. I think it's coming as soon as this week. So I didn't really have enough money to be spending a lot of money like that, but I did it anyway because it seems like an investment in my health and in my productivity. And you can always use a new surface in your studio if you're a drafts person like me. Okay, so I opened up I bought, or I didn't buy, I rented, checked out at the library, the best out of the Best American series. It's the Best American Essays of the Century, edited by Joyce Carol Oates and Robert Otwan, if that's how you say his name. And this is, I think it was published in, I'm going to put a link in the description for everything I read from, by the way. So it was, 2000. So I love this. And I opened right up to Vladimir Nabokov. And this was from 1966. It's called A Perfect Past. But the second I read this opening line, I thought, why is this called Perfect Past? This is from Speak Memory, which is a book of his that I love almost the most. And then at the bottom it says, first published in The New Yorker, 1950, revised and expanded for conclusive evidence, 1951, and enlarged again as Chapter 1 of Speak Memory, 1966. That gave me a good feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but I like when artists or writers or any creator of any kind is sort of reuses things. I mean, sometimes it gets redundant, and we all do it to an extent, and that's how a body of work is actually created, but that's recognizable. But what I mean is a direct quote like this is kind of interesting. Anyway, I've made a piece about the opening line of this exact essay called Perfect Past, but I did it. I never have read this. I have read Speak Memory. Highly recommend it, by the way. Put it on your reading list. Okay, here we go. The cradle rocks above an abyss, and common sense tells us that our existence is but a brief crack of light between two eternities of darkness. Although the two are identical twins, man, as a rule, views the prenatal abyss with more calm than the one he is heading for, at some 4,500 heartbeats an hour. I know, however, of a young chronophobiac who experienced something like panic when looking for the first time at homemade movies that had been taken a few weeks before his birth. He saw a world that was practically unchanged, the same house, the same people, and then realized that he did not exist there at all, and that nobody mourned his absence. He caught a glimpse of his mother waving from an upstairs window, and that unfamiliar gesture disturbed him, as if it were some mysterious farewell. But what particularly frightened him was the sight of a brand new baby carriage standing there on the porch with the smug, encroaching air of a coffin. Even that was empty, as if, in the reverse course of events, his very bones had disintegrated. And that's all I'm going to read to you from this one. I'm really glad this was in here because I had no idea of its existence, and I really should have, being that I'm completely obsessed with Speak Memory. And that whole opening passage is just gorgeous, isn't it? I knew you guys would like it. I think I could keep going because I checked out a lot of books and I was planning on going forever, but apparently I think it's probably time for me to start closing this chapter out with you guys, and maybe even doing what you guys want me to do, a question corner. Question corner, for anybody new, is when I just ask you a bunch of questions and we don't really get into the answers, but a lot of times you guys send me your answers. I think you can send them to me at info@robinoneal.com would be the best thing if you want to just answer them. It's fun to type them out, and I do read all of them. I can't always respond to all of them when I do this, but I love reading your answers, and I'm just honored that anybody sends them to me. So let's do question corner, and we're just gonna hit this right now. We're not gonna plan this out. We're just gonna do it. What is the worst thing you did this year? And you can take that to mean anything. Like, did you do something bad, or what was the worst experience? You can say that, but I kind of like the idea, what is the worst thing you did this year? Oh God, I'm afraid to answer that one. I don't know. I don't want to answer it, but the worst experience I had was almost dying. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go ahead and go back to the episode prior to this one, which is, June 22nd episode, I think. And it's titled something about my 10th anniversary of the podcast. Okay, what is the most valuable characteristic in a friend, the way you see it? What is your favorite characteristic of a friend? Or what do you value the most? For me, gosh, I would say warmth, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And what is your favorite candy of all time? I used to say Shock Tarts, and I don't say that anymore. I now say Tony's chocolate bars. I'll take any of them, and I'll take all of them, and I swear to God, I want to eat one right now, but I don't even have any in the house that I know of. But I wish I did, and I really like the kind that has pretzels in it. Do you guys know Tony's chocolate? How about the font they use, too? How about the packaging? Somebody who listens, and you may know who I'm talking about out there, Dawn. I know like 5 Dawns, but this Dawn knows who I'm talking about. She first sent me, my mouth is watering. I'm so sorry, that's so gross, but she's the first person to ever send me a Tony's chocolate, and oh my God, I'll never be able to thank her enough. Well, being that I just noticed I wasn't breathing deeply, do you find that you breathe deeply enough, or are you a shallow breather? It's okay. You can be honest. Don't be shy. How deep is your breath? How deep is your breath? How deep is your breath? I really do need to know. And My breath, I've been catching it being really shallow lately, and it really upsets me. That is not good. Not good. But I also find that breathing deeply means you are constantly, if you're in the middle of talking, how can you breathe deeply? It's just weird. It's just going to lead to weird pauses. Maybe I need more pauses in my conversation. I guarantee I do. Okay. Do you currently wear any shoes that you simply don't like anymore, but you just keep wearing them for whatever reason? Whether it be you just don't have the money for a new pair, whether it be you're just not treating yourself well, whether it's like you feel stuck with them because you did spend money on them. I do have a pair that I keep on wearing, and it's my black and white leather Adidas that I wear all the time. But these are, and yes, it is because I don't feel I can afford a new pair right now without feeling guilty about spending money on it. They are so dirty and so gross that I feel like a just gross every time I go out in them. And again, it's not like I'm going to the opera or anything, but I mean, it makes me feel bad every single time I put them on. And yet I just keep on wearing them. I do have another pair that are red and white that I save for if I really am going somewhere. I don't know, I don't know where I'd be going, but I'm imagining going to a bookstore because Damien has made a list of Seattle and Bellingham, Washington bookstores that we're going to go to that I've never been to. And I'm really excited because he's the native here and I'm not. And I haven't done a lot of exploring. Oh, anyway. So, yes, do you have any shoes that you're just, I don't know, just stuck with? And should we do anything about it? I'm definitely going to put this on my list of dream purchases as a new pair of black and white leather Adidas. Okay. Last question is, who in your life do you need to have a bigger conversation with? And you're just not doing it. What's stopping you? Though that's the other question. And what's stopping you? Answer it. Currently, I don't have anybody. In fact, I attempted an important conversation with somebody who we both needed to clear the air on something. And I attempted it and attempted it again in a very kind way. And it wasn't reciprocated. It was ignored. And so guess what? I'm over it. So now I'm a clean slate with everybody. Did I tell you guys this? I heard somebody on a reality show say, I'm not typically somebody who has unfinished business, so no, such and such situation does not bother me, or something like that. And I thought, wow, what a admirable trait. And this was the show Married to Medicine, and it was one of the main doctors. I can't think of her name right now. Dr. Jackie. She said, I typically don't have unfinished business. And I thought, that is my goal. And that's what, if you're in a 12-step program, that's essentially what the 12 steps do to you, is that you are clear every day. If you go through all those steps and do the hard work it takes to go through all 12 steps, and are you really fucking honest with yourself, you're supposed to be at a blank slate every day. And at the end of the day, you check your inventory, which means, have I done something shitty to somebody? Do I need to check in about that? Do I need to apologize? And if you do that continually, you really do feel this insane amount of peace within yourself. And right now, I can honestly say I have tried. There are several things that are unfinished business in that I think the other person, it's now to the point where I know I'm good. And it's up to the other people to bring things to me now, if that needs to happen. But if they don't, you can't do anything about it. So I've got a clear conscience, and a clear conscience. All right, that's it for Question Corner. Write your responses to yourself or to a friend or to me, or just think about them. And goodbye. All right, let's get out of here. In closing, I'm menopausal. Don't know if I've shared that with you guys yet. It's raining currently outside, and my windows were open, and then I closed them because it was humid and disgusting. Turned on that AC, baby. I love AC. Everybody knows it. United States of air conditioning. That's what I call this country. I feed pigeons, and they eat from my hand. I'm not as scared of insects as I used to be. That's been an interesting development. I still love decaf Americanos, and I am drinking one right now. I also make blueberry-infused water that I don't actually enjoy that much, but everybody in my family does, and it gets them to drink water, so it's real, and it's fun to make. And I got the infuser pitcher from QVC. That's a true story. What else? I just switched my therapy appointments from Tuesdays to Fridays. That seems significant. My therapist's name is Kim. I made salmon last night, and it was only mildly good. In fact, I am not looking forward to eating the leftovers today. And that was the whole kind of point of it, is that I needed some protein, and I made this salmon. I mean, leftover fish, I don't know. It's weird anyway. Maybe that was my first mistake. Tell me about you. What sort of details of your current life situation would you like to talk about and share? And which kind of things would you like to keep hidden? I think about you guys who listen to this podcast so often, and it's always with a very particular and rare, I don't know what you call it, class, species, version of love. It's crazy. I really do mean it. And I hear podcasters say this kind of stuff a lot, and I'm like, yeah, that's because you're getting paid from these people. And because I'm not getting paid from you guys, there's something that's gone on between us all that's just kind of incredible. 10 years of this shit. Some of you have been on board for 10 years, and whoa, I'm beyond grateful to all of you guys, even if you're just listening today, for giving me, first of all, for listening to me, but then to all of you guys who've been around forever. You've given me this crazy acceptance and understanding in a way that I have truly never felt prior to this podcast. And I know you guys know what I mean when I say that. So even though I'm doing the worst job of explaining it, and I apologize. Anyway, life is crazy and we all need each other. So I don't know what else to say. That was a substandard ending after all of that. You know what? I'm here and I'm not here. Give me time, Let's work out the kinks as we go forward, okay? I'm not ending it well, so let's, I know what to do. I know what to do. We shall find peace. We shall hear angels. We shall see the sky sparkling with diamonds. That is Anton Chekhov. I'm Robin O'Neill. I love you guys so much. Thank you for coming back with me. Be patient with me. Be patient with yourselves. And I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye. Goodbye.